G'day viewers, this is the man from Uncle, more like Creature from the Black Lagoon. Welcome to my channel. Time is 1:37 p.m, 4th of April, Friday, 2025. Now I do a lot of search on Google to get answers, and then I reverse the question back to front and I get the same answer, so it's bullshit. If you say something that is this a better choice or a better product or something, and they'll give you every reason why it's a better product, and then you bring up the product that it's just opposed and say, is the opposed product a better product, without putting in the word opposed, and it comes up, yes, it's a better product, or all the reasons why it's better or popular or something. Just bullshit, mate. Just a bloody computer answering your questions. So when it comes to some serious decisions like a purchase or something you want to buy, say, be it a sports car or a classic car, not that I'm interested in cars, but most people would be trendy and choose a sports car. Even if the sports car was being sold cheaper than a classic car, because of somebody you know, it doesn't make it the right choice. Your character, two people online, your character and what resonates with you is the better decision, right? Now let's compare pianos. The bigger upright piano, it says brighter tone, richer tone, this and that, and very good in large rooms compared to a smaller one. But when you look it up, the smaller one, it says the smaller one is brighter and has a rich tone, or perhaps even richer in some way, because it resonates in a smaller room. What I'm getting at is that when you're on the show floor and you play a piano, a lot of space, it may sound good, but when I was on the showroom, I had to take the panel off to get the brightness of the bigger one. And the little one, a smaller one, which is only one model less, was brighter. And I'm absolutely convinced it was brighter, and it inspired more theatrical heavy playing. And when I looked up Google, it said that the smaller one, it type of had some type of faster action, and it could take the heavy tone. Then I posed the question and asked the same question the other way, and it said the same thing. It's just bullshit. On the bigger piano, when I played heavy, I could hear the click sounds. It wasn't handling it as well, but it was better for the softer music. And the smaller piano, which is just one less, was better for the heavier. It's a work beast. The most universities would choose the smaller one, which is the Kawai 500, which is a fantastic university model. I think it's now better than Yamaha. And the K600 is bigger than the K800, but the K800 may have a bit bigger soundboard, but K600 is taller. See, what I'm trying to say here is that if you go by Google, you're going to get bullshit, because it's just going to give you what you want to hear. But the spirit of your character and your nature chooses, again, relating to the sports car and the classic car. Just because a sports car's through a friend is going to be cheaper than buying a classic car. What are you, a classic car person, or are you a sports car person? So why would you go and buy a sports car because it's cheaper than a classic version? They're both quite expensive. A renovated classic car can be worth a fortune too. So it boils down to how it resonates with you and your character. Right? What works for somebody may not work for another. What is right for somebody may not be right for another. And in relationships, when you choose a companionship where you are more loved for being more open and honest with your sex life and however you want to make it work with a partner. To somebody else that you've never discussed it, you've married with blind, naive, foolish faith, and you find out that on the other levels you're hated. She wishes she never married you, or you wish she never married her. It's just bullshit. It's nonsense. Communication is vital, and you need to choose what works for you. See, religion will oppress you and say you cannot do a thing without it relating to sin. And you talk to these people, they won't tell you their business, and they'll come to church as if nothing happened. But you go to get counsel and help from them. Those sort of things are taboo. They won't talk about it. But they'll judge you over a smoke, drink, tea, coffee, and a fart. When they could be ripping people off in business and everything, getting filthy rich, using churches and network marketing. So we got to make choices that works for us. We're not going to get the friggin' answers on Google. You're only going to get bullshit because they're going to say exactly what you want to hear. All right? I don't care about cost, really, when it comes to choosing something that's going to be your grandmaster. Either be a car or a piano or a partner, whatever. I would rather a woman who communicates, who is maybe a little less attractive than somebody who's glamorous but cannot communicate. Now, why would you want to be with a glamorous woman if she can't communicate? Right? Why do a lot of people want to help the glamorous ones, pretty ones, and get scammed by them when you can just go and help an ugly one or one on the street? There are a lot of people that give money and help to those who do not deserve it compared to the ones who do deserve it. So I'm just relating to how society works. We keep feeding the wrong people. We keep feeding the wrong choices because we compare, we get the view from the society and the popularity of everything and, the feedback. Sometimes you need to fast. I give it 48 hours. Don't even go to church. Don't even put yourself in a position of vulnerability because you're spaced out, and break the fast and wait upon the Lord to give you an answer through the Spirit. I fasted for 5 days once, but I had the pressure of going to church and I collapsed, made a fool of myself. I got so pissed off that basically walked out of church and I was angry for weeks on end because I never got an answer. But when I did the 48-hour fast and closed my door, went into my private closet, and then finally I went to visit Mum, I got on a train, and I was thinking about it. I'd broken my fast just on train, and I said, I have a decision to make. I want to know what resonates with me in a decision. And I got the Spirit told me, right? And then I thought I'd check up on Google, and the Google says, oh, no, you could have gone for this or could have gone for that. Just in buying something or choosing something and saying, oh, the grandmaster choice would be this and that, It's just bullshit. Bigger is not always better, all right? And it just goes on and on and on with the list, It's like a big dog or a little dog. Some people would like a big fluffy dog and a little Jack Russell, cheeky little devil's small dog can be a better choice. Less grooming and so forth. So less food even, cheaper. But who cares about money? Animals, you got to give them good food. Okay, so there are just so many decisions that we have to make, and we compare and we look up Google and we get other ideas and people and all that, and then try and make an earthly logical decision on what we're going to choose. And every time I have made a choice based upon people's opinions and choices, it's been the wrong one. You could marry for convenience. You marry somebody because they're in the church and it's, oh yes, and certain morale and all this, and find out that you end up sexless and incompatible in bed. It is, you think you have to marry a virgin because you're a virgin, and or whatever. You try to match yourself with people that's compatible, but that compatibility can change because it's naive, it's blind faith and foolish. Once you've hit the rock bottom, like the prodigal son, you get up again, you come to know the real Jesus. You're going to make new friends and make new choices based on reality, a reality check. And that's a better choice. So you need to be with somebody who's going to accept you on the lower level, but also choose not to remain there and not to judge you for no matter how filthy, rotten sinner you may be on that level where there is some lust and sexual thing going on with the wife, legally, wife thing, and return to the light. But there are people who are very highly moral and highly religious that when you hit the rock bottom level, they've never seen that before. They see something ugly or beastie in you. They hold you in contempt, you end up in divorce. It is just stupid to think that you can stay on one level from the start, especially when you're young. When you're old, about 90, who cares then? You marry your best friend. You don't go and marry out of convenience somebody who's just because they're in the church or this and that, or virgin or not virgin. You really need to be married to your best friend, and we don't always get that right. We get advice from parents, and the parents say, I don't think we approve of that person. That person's a, what do you call it? There's a word. There's a word. Bad boys or something. Well, bad boys that become Christian, they've come from a bit of a harder, rougher life. They know how to pull the strings to give you lots of attention. Where the goody, he's going to ignore. He may ignore you. I've known very famous pastors that are so squeaky clean and run a big congregation. Their own wife left them because they don't satisfy them in friggin' bed. Oh, they love Jesus and everything, but they don't. Look, you've got to love your companion. And do you take Jesus in the bedroom with you? Did you know I used to do that? I used to pray before making love to my wife when I first got into the church with my wife, first wife. We wouldn't even do sex unless we prayed. How stupid is that? Right. So there comes a time when it's just you and your wife. So you say you put God first, correct. But in reality, in the humanoid sense, you're putting your family first because it's human, it's real, it's in front of you. Because no one really knows for sure until you die what goes on. You might have these experiences and it's real and you're not brain dead. The only person that's real is your companion and your dog and your cat and whatever. This is friggin' real. And so you want to be with somebody spiritual? Yes. Number one, you want to be with somebody that's physically attractive, that loves you, somebody that has the same interest in you, musically or whatever, likes to go for long walks and not going to throw water over you like my American wife did for sleeping in because I wasn't a morning person. And then she goes out with a gay guy, pick her up in the morning to go jogging and shopping, and I didn't care. And in the end, after she divorced me, broke my nose for drinking coffee because the church was against it, real fanatic she was, she marries the gay guy. And next thing, she's at the Wine Valley in California getting on the piss. I saw it on Facebook. She was against all tea, coffee, smoke, drink, because I was breaking the Mormon rules for medical reasons. Stimulate myself because of my damage from the accident. Otherwise, I could be stuck in bed all day. Aches and pains and so forth. She didn't understand any of that. She couldn't get pregnant. She had missing ovaries. I found her in the shower, completely broke down like a baby, really pissed off that she couldn't have a child. She was so angry. See, some people marry just to have children. You got to be sure that when you be with somebody that you're not being used. It doesn't matter how much the attraction is. And she was a cheer girl. I mean, she was very pretty and Miss Apple Pie and everything. And I had this thing, it had to be an American. I had a gut full of Australian woman backstab me. And now the Western type of, I don't know, moralistic, judgmental woman I'm certainly not interested in. And I'm not interested in the slutty aspect of the Western woman either. I'm just saying, I love the cultures that do not throw their grandmother out, even if she's a witch doctor or been to prison. All right? The Indian culture, which I did marry into, they won't throw the mother or grandmother out, but they'll call her a shitty mother because she had a failed marriage, which I did. They're Catholic and into Papa Pope, a big fight over what they believe, and you're out on your ear. And when I go and visit the step-grandkids, I'm not allowed to make videos. I'm not allowed to preach the grace. It's all Papa Pope Catholic. That's bullshit. You don't even want to go over and visit, see? Incompatibilities, because it was never talked about before arrangement. And I didn't get married to bring all those kids out, but you find out, you marry the mama, you marry the whole family and all the kids. They all come out, they're all working hard, rich, so stuck up rich that they don't even contact me on Facebook. Though I get invited for Christmas and birthdays, and I'm grateful for that. But my own blood children, they cut off for life because they anti-Christ. Anti-Christ. They're not Catholic. They're not anything. They really can't stand Jesus. My son's mother is a very supposedly devout Latter-day Saint Mormon, and she tells him that he's more righteous than me and probably brainwash him and say, don't have anything to do with your father. He's a failure. See, she's the one that come up and said, I'm good, I'm righteous, and you're not. And I said, none good but God, Jesus said. And she said, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Of course we're friggin' good, and you're not. Why was I not good? Huh? Because we both fell from the priesthood, a baby died, and we didn't know each other. She hated God there for a while, and I just went batshit crazy, and I was in the peak of my career with music, and them days I did sneak a drink here and there, but I didn't smoke. I went to the funeral of the child, and I pissed off and went back to my entertainment in the resorts, and the bishop said, oh, don't go back to work, she needs you. And it cost me the marriage. How do you live without being out of work? It was my friggin' career. I mean, I almost famous, but I never got really famous because I never slept around once during my entire career. I never really crossed the line except the beer. So what more do I have to give up for a marriage that didn't work out anyway? So, but if I had my life over again and a baby died, I don't know. I suppose you got to be there for the family, for the mourning, which could take years. When are you going to get back to friggin' work? I've got a mate, he's an electrician. He had a heart attack not long ago. He got scammed $35,000 with some, immigration agent scam. You're supposed to get it back, but he had to show $100,000 to immigration to do it the proper way through embassy to bring your family up from friggin' Vietnam. But he didn't have that sort of money, and he lost the $35,000. He comes over here to work his guts out and leaves his family in Vietnam, and then has a heart attack. Now he's come good. He's been out of work for how long, I don't know. Now he's going back to work to earn the money that he lost through a scam to bring his family out. It's going to take like 4 years. What hell people go through, man. You're not going to get any help from the church, I can tell you. You're not going to get help from anyone. And he was quite racist in his younger days. I'll never be married to an Asian woman. His first wife walked out on him because he loved Elvis. And she hated Elvis. He used to put the Elvis music on all the time and drove her insane. People break up for all sorts of reasons. But she died, unfortunately, just after he got to Vietnam the first time. She died, and he couldn't even make it to the funeral. He just flown out. Poor thing. I mean, yeah, she had cancer, yeah. It's sad what people have to go through. People online, Lauren Dixon, hi, welcome. Shakamaya, speaking in another language, welcome, Shakaman. And Felix's wife's real says, "Are you Australian?" Yes, of course I am, but I've got 61% Irish in me. Though I've never been to Ireland. I went to Scotland thinking I was Scottish. Kirk, found out that I'm more Irish. My dad's got Scottish, related to King George, and is it King George and William Wallace? So, yep, all of that. Kind of almost direct line. My mum's got Viking in her. She's got British in her, a bit of Scottish, and I've got a bit of Swedish in me, a bit of French in me, and Viking, a little bit of and some Viking too. So anyway, I'm Australian. So I'm born and bred here. My mother's side of the family were, what can I say? You got the convicts that come out, and they were mistreated like slaves. I mean, my dad's side are all bloody royalty. I mean, my dad got involved in politics because of my first blood cousin, or what you call it, his nephew, won under the Prime Minister at one stage. That cost him his marriage. He went to his head into politics. My mother would not get invited to meet the Prime Minister because she's a Viking. She's got this, a bit like Lucy Ball. You know Lucy Ball from the TV series, that real red-headed bitch? I love her. She's great. They didn't like my mum, but they loved my dad and all the dad's side of the family. My own son is taken to my dad's side of the family. They're prideful. They're cut off. When my dad died, every relative in the family cut off from mum like a dirty rag. Why did they get married in the first place? It's like Cheat and Chong. No, well, not Cheat and Chong. They both smoke their weed. No, that's not like that. It's like chalk and cheese. That's what I meant. Chalk and cheese. Opposites attract. Stuff that. Why don't you be with somebody that's compatible? Why does it have to be chalk and cheese? Why does it have to be two opposites? Why does it have to be two half people coming together as one? Bullshit. How about two whole people coming together as one? Two whole people, not two half people. You see? Why do we rush into marriage? Why do we do this and that? I'll tell you 3 reasons why people rush into marriage. One is sex. One, because you're not allowed to do it outside of a marriage. You rush into that when you should find out if you're compatible before you get married. Not that I cross the line. Normally, it's a halfway job. At least, look upon one another and have a bit of self-control and say, well, okay, this is going to work. Not just wake up in bed on the honeymoon night and find out and take a lucky dip and see if it works. Take a lucky dip, all right? People get married for security, just for money. What's another one? For children, just to have babies. Some women just want babies, practically marry anyone that is reasonably decent. And the other reason is religious reasons. They could have a best friend, childhood sweetheart, and then just turn their back and say, well, you're not in the church. I'm going to marry just convenient Joe Blow here. And plus he's richer than you and all that. And that actually happened. A mate of mine got rejected. She married this old bloody bastard, twice her age, with bald head, gave her a mansion and everything, but he never went on to the Mormon temple to get sealed. He didn't believe in it anyway, which was a good thing, because once he died, she got rich. She went back to my mate and married him. And he was in the church by then, and he became a bishop. But 30 years robbed, no children, no nothing, because she would not marry the childhood sweetheart because she had to be married to somebody in the church. That's the pressure, the peer pressure of a church. You marry anyone just to get to heaven. I brought a sister into the church, and the rules were you had to be a married bishop or a branch president to baptize and so forth. That's the Mormon church. It's not like the Catholic church, single priests and all that. But he was single. So it was a different, he shouldn't have been called as a branch president. And as soon as he baptized her, he's trying to date her, and he's trying to get her to the temple and get married and all this, chasing her like a bloody puppy dog. She had to get him off her back, offering lifts and everything. It's just a club, a marriage club to get to heaven. Marry anyone that's worthy and a priesthood holder. Listen, look, bad boys who become Christian, it's not a bad thing, really, because you know, they know how to pull the strings. They're not going to ignore you in that sense. I mean, they're going to look at you like almost worship you. Not that we shouldn't make it an idol, but the goody-goodies, not going to look at you on any other level. They're going to say, oh, she's not a saint. She's being naughty. Oh, she's being a little bit horny or something. I've got to get to the church meeting. I better get away from this crap. Who would want to be married to a squeaky clean priesthood holder or some clergy of some pastoral ministry? That's bullshit to me. When you marry somebody, you marry their spirit, soul, and body, but the spirit is the most important, and we both have an understanding of this spiritual intelligence to return to the light and let go of the lower level, own the dark, to appreciate the light. Never hate, just it's human nature, basic instinct. As soon as you hate, demons get in. That's my experience, and I look back now, I think it's bloody stupid that religion will tell you to marry just anyone that's worthy, anyone that's so religious and holy and moral. That's nonsense. I'd rather somebody who's not, but they have to be sincere. Not somebody's going to backstab you who's been raped by their stepfather, and then they're going to go to the police and have her own husband locked up for being like daddy, you know? And then there's those ones who just love to be abused because they were abused by their stepfather, and they marry an older man, and they want practically the older man husband to rape them. It gets toxic, man. You talk all this crap out with them before you marry them. If they can't listen to your crap because they're so friggin' virtuous and so much in the church, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree. What a gamble. Talk about gambling. I've gambled a few times. In fact, I was a professional gambler, and I gambled with women. Not that I slept with them or anything. 90% of the time, I did everything by the book. Where did it get me? Nowhere. So this video is about listening to the prompting of the Spirit, not listening to the prophet. You can get some guidance, fine. Don't put your trust in man, prophet, pope, priest, pastor, bishop. I had a prompting. I make choices. I talk to people, and normally every time I'd make a choice, they were against it. It's like, what'd you make that choice for? Look up Google, look up this, look up that. Take the sports car. It's offered to you cheaper, but it's more trendy. Go up in the world. Do this, do that. And I like classic cars. So it's like I make a choice to say if I did spend more money on a classic car than a sports car, or the sports car is cheaper than the classic car because it's through a friend. No, you see, people think I'm crazy. I don't want a friggin' sports car. I'm not into sports cars. I like classic cars. But it's not as popular as sports cars. Yeah, I won a bloody Porsche once. And I just drove it around and everything. And anyway, that's a long story. Yeah. Stuff the sports car. It was bloody thieves and everything. And I wouldn't trust parking it. And all the higher insurance it takes to own a Porsche. Give me an old classic car any day. Anyway, more people online. Hi, Lauren Dixon. And Felix's wife is still online. Welcome, Lauren Dixon. Yep. 24 people online. At last, I'm actually getting some people, because the last few videos I've hardly had very many people, and I've had up to 20,000 views. Not that I care so much, but it makes me feel appreciated. I love comments, and I love to answer comments. Now, on this video channel, so I can keep it going and engage, I do what I do. I have a coffee and I have a smoke. I didn't used to. Mormons won't like that, but who gives a stuff? I do what's right for me. I don't feel any guilt about it. It's just an expensive habit, and in some countries it's very cheap. Because I lived in East Pakistan for 2 years. 50 cents, $1 for a packet. Here, $40. It's ridiculous. So I've got to try and make it last. And I don't go out much, and I don't party, I don't drink anymore, and I don't do orgies, and I don't engage in all that nonsense. And the only pleasure I have in life is my music, of course, because I'm a composer. I have a smoke and a coffee, and if that's going to stop me from going to heaven, that's what I think. All right? God's not going to spew you out of his mouth over those things. Do you love your neighbor? Huh? If you love God, love your neighbor. That's more important. defining what a Christian is. People say they're being converted, lip service, sinner's prayer and everything, and yet they cherry pick who they love and who they hate. That's bullshit. Jesus didn't say that at all. Jesus said, love your neighbour. Love God, love your neighbour. That's more important than anything else. That's an example of a true Christian. It's a works. So what's bad about that? Faith without works is dead. Oh, you got to be grace activated, otherwise you're going to hell, you're going to burn. No, you're not. It's more likely you'll fall and hit rock bottom like the prodigal son, while the squeaky clean brother was so jealous, and find the real Jesus and activate the grace and then continue on with your works. If you way around, you're not condemned for it. You're a doer of the word. Just love your neighbour. If you don't love your neighbour, all that works is in vain anyway. Priesthood becomes priestcraft, Pharisee, self-righteous, puffed up, and whatever. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with works. Mother Teresa was full of works, Catholic works, and she helped all those people in Calcutta, and she was an angry batshit thing. She admitted in her biography she was schizo and she had Hitler thoughts and everything. The moment she sat still, because Jesus will say, Martha, come and sit down with Mary and be still, know that God is God. Mother Teresa was a meat-axe. She was mad. She had to be busy, and she said, I'm going to have it out with you, God. Why you let those people in Calcutta in India suffer like that? And she didn't believe everything about the Catholic Church anyway. Some people reckon she stole the tithing to give to the poor. Good on her. Stole the Catholic tithing and give to the poor. She ain't going to hell. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. The government of Australia does that in a good way. They steal from the rich to give to the old people. What's wrong with that? You're all going to get friggin' old one day. And they do everything they can that you get medical help and free and everything. But you'll pay for vets. Oh my God, you'll pay for dentists. There's even a dentist mafia. I told my wife, don't go on a Sunday. They've got student doctors, 1 year dentist doctors, not qualified. Oh no, can't wait to Monday. And she got a needle jabbed in to numb to get the tooth out or whatever. And her face was paralyzed for 1 friggin' year. I went and took up a suing thing with the dentist, and I had to end up going to one of the head dentist association. He threatened me. It's like he's putting his hand in the drawer to pull out a gun. But mafia, bloody dentist mafia. You're not coming up against the dentist mafia. We never got any compensation for that. Dentists and bloody vets. A vet killed my bloody dying cat. Oh, it's just got a prickle in its foot. It's just bleeding half to death. Don't worry about it. It's just a prickle. The cat was poisoned, and it was blood poisoning, and the poor cat bled to death. Disgusting. And I paid for that, $100. It would have cost me $3,000 to get the blood drained, what was left of it, and give the cat a transfusion. I didn't have the $3,000, but my mum would have helped. See, mum loves animals. That vet said, oh, that's all right. It's just a prickle, thorn, it'll live. It died within a few days. Blood dripping out of its foot. We just let it die because the vet said it's only a prickle. It had blood poisoning, and it was toxic, been poisoned, and it was bleeding. Ended up bleeding through the nose, everything in the end. But when we found the cat, it had bleeding nose, everything. The poor cat died of the blood drain from its body. What a way to go! And then that cat jumped up on my wife's chest just moments before it died, and it just purred and it tapped. And then it breathed, gave it and died. And not once did we go and take that cat to the vet hospital to get the blood put in, because that other stupid vet said, it's nothing to worry about. And I paid money. I went back and told that vet he didn't even have any empathy. What you doing being a friggin' vet? You don't even care about animals like that. So anyway, I'm talking about vets and bloody lawyers, vets, and friggin' what else? Dentists. Not free. At university, lawyers you pay for. Become a doctor, medical you pay for, but pretty much everything else is almost free. You just got to pay for your books and a fee to go to uni. I became a teacher. I did music and English literature. So anyway, what am I raving on about? Anyway, somebody's on here. Burzaloy's online 034. Hello from Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan. Is that Russia? Kyrgyzstan. It could be Russian, but welcome anyway. Russians are my cousins. They came to aid during a crisis, protecting from the Chinese communists who murdered my father. In a long story, communist Chinese, the illegal, the bad ones, the ones that probably took down Malaysian Airlines with the North Koreans, because they wrote a letter saying they were going to do it. But cops didn't believe me. But anyway, but next thing, the Russians said, you better make an allegiance with us because we spy on you. We seen the girl you brought into the church naked and everything, and had pictures and everything. So they're not goody. They're not Christian. They're still communists too, but they were against the Chinese. But in reality, the Chinese and the Russians are kind of going to be part of the end anyway. They're going to join up and send missiles up to try and kill Jesus. And some of the Muslims will be involved too. The rich Muslims will get caught up in the allegiance. The true Muslims have nothing to do with all that secret society crap. Some of these rich Arabs and that, all going to be caught up as Antichrist. Because they won't part with their friggin' money. And Jesus said to the rich guy, give up your inheritance, come follow me. He was moral, clean, everything. Oh no, I can't give up my money. To get out of these allegiant clubs, 33-degree level masonry thing, Knight Templar and that, you got to give all your money over to get out of it. And still you may not get out of it. People can't part with their money, man. Well, once you're approached, because you're a billionaire or rich or famous, you have to make an allegiance. Otherwise, they bump you off or they remove you from the power. No one stays in power. The simple rock star has to do this. Celine Dion did it. Ed Sheeran did it. They all suck up. And all the slogans on the shirts and things, you don't even notice it. Pyramids and bloody third eye and everything. It's an indirect type of hypnosis. It's to program the world of a frequency, which is, what is it? Get it right. 440. Which is the chaos theory type of frequency. The one that resonates with harmony in the universe, it's 432, I think it is. And they don't want you to have the frequency of 432. So they'll put everything in your brain, music and everything, inspire it to pull you down so you can't tap into the power and the alchemy. You'll be a dumbass under their control, and their satellites are spying and they can see everything you do. You've been seen doing it all. Right? They come on my channel. I'm not going to mention the name this time, and they say, shut your channel down or we'll expose photos of you jerking off or something. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. If I got photos of my mate having it off with all these prostitutes or bloody wife or whatever, I couldn't care less. I just laugh, man. I don't hate people for what they do. I don't hate the sinner. Well, Jesus doesn't even hate this. Jesus doesn't hate the sin. He hates the sin. We do shit in our life, but it's legal because they're trying to pin you. They think you're doing something illegal. It's not illegal to have wild, passionate sex with your wife, and then they video it from satellite. Then they send it off to Asia or the cops or the bloody, then the radar, it's on the radar, and then the bloody cyber terrorists, the bad guys, they get it, and then they send it off to churches and things. I've had interviews and saying, what's this? I've got an audio of you talking to the Russians or having wild sex with your wife, and it's like, real kind of rough. Big friggin' deal. That's my business, what goes on in the bedroom. That's how it was in the younger day, What are these pastors and bishops and everything getting upset about it for? As if they're so squeaky clean and you're sustaining them? I would rather a bad boy become a bishop. Somebody like that evangelist I go to, street preaching one, he got out of jail for attempted murder, but he's repented. He's become a pastor, and he won't kick anyone out of the church like the Church of Christ did, kick out a mental patient. All for goodies. He could have put the Bible down and prayed over that poor person. No, remove thyself. This is my platform. I'm the shepherd here. Piss off. It's just... come on, what hypocrisy is this? Kick me out. I'm sure it's a doctrinal issue, and other reasons, malicious false gossip against me, just to get rid of me. They lie for the Lord. They didn't want me. Baptists don't want me because I believe in a spirit, intelligence. And I said, Jeremiah, God knew before he was born. That's what it says in the Bible. Of course, now they said, oh no, just God knew the future. I've been told by my angel, not just once, we have a spirit. And we lived with Father for thousands of years before this world. We will even witness the cross, crucifixion, everything. And there's those here today that if they were born back then, they would kill Jesus. The good, the bad, the ugly are among us. Rice and Peas is online. Welcome. IK Berzeloy 034 Central Asia. Thank you. I know that name of the city. I lived in East Pakistan, Bangladesh, Calcutta, Bangalore, Goa, Calcutta, went all around. I was a teacher, music, mainly Muslim schools. I went to Muslim weddings. I went to Hindu weddings. I've been to the mosque, everything. And I was treated like royalty by the good Muslims. He protected me against the bad Muslims. But once the bad Muslims came to me and pressured me to get one of the terrorists out of prison, not for murder. He hadn't killed anyone, but he had some corrupted financial thing going on, ripping foreigners off and passports stolen and all that. I got him out of jail, and they offered me $50,000. I wouldn't take it. I took $1,000 because that's the cost of what they stole from me. And they saluted me, and wherever I went, I was protected. And my wife was angry with me, and the captain of the army he was pissed off because he wanted that guy in jail. I got a call. Sorry, I gotta go. One moment, I better get out of here. I've got a call coming through. It's important. Love you all. Thank you for listening. I'll be back. I'll be back later. Okay. So just love one another, love thy neighbor, take care of oneself, and do not misjudge. Never be shocked about anything because we are human. And love God, love your neighbor. Simple as that. Okay. People that have go from bad to good, you can say, but people who are goody all their life, they don't know nothing. I wouldn't want them in power. They're worse. Somebody who understands what it's like to hit rock bottom, make a better leader. I personally believe that anyway. That's my choice. Anyway, thank you. I'm going to leave now. 11 people online. I wonder who that call was now. It seemed to be important. Just see if anybody come to visit me. No. Yeah, I was interrupted. I get a bit hyped up, I don't trust people mainly, especially religious people, very rare. I go by the prompting of the Spirit, and people say, oh, but you have a smoke, you won't have the Spirit. See, under grace, the Holy Spirit doesn't leave you, you leave it, and it's not an it, it's Jesus Christ, can say. You can receive revelation. You don't have to be holy and perfect to receive revelation. You do not have to fast 40 days and 40 nights to get revelation. You just got to try and detach that spiritual ego and just sit back and be still and know that God is God and hear what God has to say. It could take longer than normal, but you just be patient and wait for the answer to come. And the answer may not be what your ego wants or what your friends want and everything. So you've got to make choices that is right for you. It's not a matter of right and wrong. It's a matter of what you agree to, if it's a couple relationship, and what works. Amen? So you can get all the opinions in the world about something, it doesn't make it right. It takes life experience to realize that we don't need to listen to people that are going to bum steer us and lead us in the wrong direction. To them, it might be the right direction, but for you, it's not. You can spend your whole life climbing up the top of the wall or mountain only to realize you climbed up the wrong one. So You know what I mean? Don't depend on man, prophet, priest, pope, whatever, pastor. Just either get on your hands and knees or meditate or whatever. Go into your privacy closet and pray about something and get an answer which will be completely opposite mainly from anyone would advise you. But it's not going to advise you to do the wrong thing in such a way like illegal or something. It's just going to tell you what is best for you and your development of your character in Christ. All right? And just remember, bigger is not always better. More expensive is not always better. Sometimes something cheaper that's quality is better than something that is expensive in quality. You know what I mean? I've had, let's say for instance, I've got a $7 jug to boil water. 30 seconds it boils, right? You go and buy an expensive jug, it takes two minutes to boil. The $7 jug is better than the $25 jug. It's just things like that. Just because something costs more, it's a better brand, it might last longer. If the $7 jug blows up in a year or a microwave, just go and get another one. Throwaway society we live in. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's a little bit on life, wisdoms and understandings and making choices for individual self and for your family and work-related and financial, spiritual, emotional, everything you need to get answers which lie within yourself. It's beyond texts and scriptures and all that, every word, that will oppress you and cause you to hate or judge and, stone your wife for death for adultery or something. Get away from that tyrant, murderous, bloodthirsty God that loves the smell of meat. Whatever the Bible says, I believe it's true as far as it's translated correctly. I don't go by modern translations. I go by the original first century teachings of Jesus, and those texts were not bloodthirsty, and they were slaughtered and burnt at the stake as heretics because they were preaching a loving gospel, and the Catholics did not want people to know about that. It's all about oppression and ruling over you and killing in the name of God and prophets and so forth. You see, religion, most of it is bullshit, racist, discriminating. But it's great if you want to go, but be very cautious who you trust because they backstab you and malicious gossip against you. They don't want you in the club anymore. They get rid of you like the Baptists did for life. At least the Latter-day Saints will take me back, even though they destroyed my marriage. They know you can come back, but the Baptists told me I can never come back. My doctrinal belief is different. They try to rebuke my angel. They told me that smoking was bad, and yet they could have a drink if they want. It's just ridiculous. Muslims will say that drinking's bad, but okay to have a smoke, even the woman. And it goes on and on and on and on. What's right, what's wrong is what works for you. Okay, get it? Thank you for listening. This is Darryl Kirky signing out. I'll catch you on the next video. I've got to check out that call that come through. Love you all. Good day, good afternoon, and see you soon. Bye.